In the previous episode, Miles almost gave everything he got against Bumbler, but just in the nick of time, he got back to reality and stopped beating Bumbler. Today, we will find out more info on the upgrade Bumbler received and who else has received this upgrade. At home, Miles writes in his journal, questioning the fairness of his parents' punishment. A month of laundry duty for his suspension. He finds it somewhat cruel. Recalling Mr. Acapulco's advice to reflect on his role in the world, Miles is annoyed and counters that he has saved the world countless times, though he admits to occasional tardiness. He argues he is just a teenager figuring things out. Tapping sounds interrupt him as he writes, and he greets the noise source. Tiana Toombs, the superhero starling, taps on Miles' window, expressing annoyance at his avoidance over the past few weeks. Miles explains his busyness, but Tiana counters, citing her commitments and the importance of communication. Miles attempts to justify himself, but Tiana insists he stop evading the issue and talk. Miles, with a pained look, confesses his recent struggles, feeling lost and uncertain about his path. Tiana enters Miles' room, urging him to open up to her or their friends. She mentions Gang's concern about his recent behavior. Miles denies acting strangely, but Tiana highlights his attitude towards his teacher, questioning if it's the new norm. He concedes, admitting that the pressure of his double life is getting into him. He expresses concern for his loved ones, like Gang, not understanding his struggles. Tiana misinterprets this as an excuse, assuming he is using an existential crisis to justify selfishness, leading to her leaving. Miles stops her, acknowledging his selfishness and lack of attention to her and Gang. He apologizes and requests time to gather his thoughts, promising to reach out later that night. Tiana doesn't commit but offers advice on Miles' journey. She leaves, noting she won't wait around. Miles appreciates the chance she gave him and reflects on his intensified problems. He gazes at his stained Spiderman suit, feeling his issue have evolved. He writes in his journal, acknowledging his actions won't entirely distract from his chores. In the next scene, he swings away in his Spider-Man costume, stating it aligns with his parents' wishes to stop villains. Miles swings gracefully upside down, planning some spider sleuthing. He aims to uncover clues about Bumbler's upgrades and make it back home unnoticed by his parents. Miles revisits the location of his showdown with Bumbler, noticing an open window. Realizing he is not alone, he confidently enters and taunts any potential robbers, inviting them to reveal themselves. He smirks, considering superhero work a breeze. But as he spots another person inside, he fires his web, believing he has got them. However, the situation takes a twist when the other person catches Miles' web, challenging his bravado and yanking it forcefully, sending Miles crashing inside dramatically. Misty Knight, appreciating Miles' agility, reveals herself as the one who pulled him in. Miles is stunned to discover her identity, a member of the Daughters of the Dragon crime-fighting duo, and she mentions she has training with other Spider-Folk, seeing through his web shooter tricks. Misty acknowledges Miles as the Brooklyn Spider-Man, recalling his Beyond file and praising his distinctive suit. Miles expresses gratitude and asks why she is there. Misty explains her work, mentioning recent data center thefts involving electronics and processors. As Miles recovers from his awkward fall, Misty mentions the lack of public information but reveals she has been hired by a private company to investigate recent data center thefts. Miles, recalling his battle with a computer program, expresses concern. Misty reassures him it is a human threat and points out evidence from his clash with Bumbler. Miles admits the threat came from Bumbler, whom he sees as harmless. Misty sarcastically praises his detective skills and hints at a larger scheme. Miles groans, realizing he is being tested. To redeem himself, Miles shares more about Bumbler's new gear and suspects a connection to the recent burglaries. Based on her sources, Misty shows a holographic screen of a potential next target. Miles agrees and offers to team up, intrigued by his knowledge of Bumbler. Miles boasts of his teamwork skills and mentions his Spider-Man allies. He's excited to collaborate with another black hero. Misty is touched but mentions her partner Colleen's concerns about payroll. She agrees to let Miles tag along temporarily. Miles' phone rings, surprising Misty, who questions why he left it on while patrolling. He explains that phone vibration can disrupt his spider senses and excuses himself to answer. He raises his mask halfway to talk to Gang on a video call. Miles says it's not a good time, but Gank vents out about their recent trouble with Acapulco and his 2-week detention. Gank urges Miles to share something, but Miles brushes it off, saying he wouldn't understand superhero matters. Gank, angry at Miles' dismissiveness, reminds him of their long history together and insists Miles need to figure things out before abruptly ending the call. Misty asks if Miles is okay after observing their conversation. He reluctantly assures her he is fine, attributing it to superhero matters. Misty advises Miles, suggesting that sometimes heroes unintentionally push away the people they care about while trying to protect them. She emphasizes that she is not telling him how to live but encourages him to keep things in perspective to avoid unnecessary problems. Miles acknowledges her wisdom and expresses his intention to practice it. Misty then offers assistance with any remaining tasks, clarifying she is not seeking a sidekick. Miles declines, mentioning other matters to address, including a delayed response to his girlfriend Tiana's message. He eagerly anticipates their first team-up. Misty playfully tempers his enthusiasm, warning that detective work requires patience more than punches and questioning. Miles confidently asserts his readiness, wondering how tough it could be for him. Miles grows impatient while waiting, expressing boredom and a sense of impending doom. Sarcastically, Misty congratulates him for failing his waiting detective test and warns against asking how much longer, or else he'll end up in the Hudson River. Miles argues that the other Spider-Man was more of a figure it out on the fly, but Misty reminds him they can't afford that luxury. Confused, Miles seeks clarification. Misty explains that black individuals can't always go with the flow and must plan, especially when being heroes. She emphasizes that they function as a whole when they step onto the streets, not just as individuals. Miles agrees, appreciating her words. Misty reminds him of the duality in their work, and Miles acknowledges it. Miles sighs and Misty wonders if she's blown his mind again. He denies it and points out the arrival of thieves, surprising the veteran hero. A van pulls up and a group of well-equipped thieves rushes into the location Miles and Misty were surveilling. Miles notices their advanced gear for data theft. Misty reminds him of her earlier speech about something bigger and asks if he is prepared. The two heroes spring into action, with Miles eagerly responding that he has been waiting for this all day. Misty agrees with his high-flying web approach but points out the non-lethal gun she has prepared. She assures Miles there is no need to worry and instructs him to stop talking and follow her lead. Misty leaves, telling the robbers to surrender or face a beating. However, a pain groan from a thief hanging upside down perplexes both heroes, leaving Miles puzzled. Misty examines a thief on the ground, noticing that something happened to them swiftly and silently, with their weapons still on safety. As Miles inspects the hanging thief, he recognizes the stab patterns on the body and realizes who it is. Before he can react, his spider sense alerts him, warning Misty to watch out. Suddenly, a familiar villain comes crashing in, shouting at Spider-Man that round 2 will be a lot different than last time, calling him punk and telling him to believe his words. The villain is Scorpion, who greatly surprises Spider-Man as he and Misty evades the villain's surprise entrance. Scorpion raises his tail, now featuring a deadly laser cannon. He sarcastically thanks Spider-Man for his free suit upgrade after their previous encounter. As he attacks with his tail, Scorpion mentions a little birdie and instructs Spider-Man to drop, with Misty Knight being a bonus. Miles and Misty need clarification on Scorpion's word and ask for more information. Misty threatens to shoot Scorpion again if he talks. They dodge Scorpion's attack, but he counteracts with his upgraded tail, claiming they need more firepower to harm him. Miles suggests calling for backup, but Misty informs him they are the backup. Scorpion looms menacingly, wanting to enjoy the party with just the three. Meanwhile, a narration ominously states that Miles Morales is in grave danger. Tiana, perched on the building's edge, sees angrily as Miles ignores her messages. She warns him to pray she doesn't catch up to him after he defies her again. Feeling foolish for worrying about him, Tiana's phone vibrates with a message and she assumes it's from Miles. She opens it to find an apology for his tardiness. Tiana asks for his location and Miles cryptically tells her to turn around. Just as Tiana prepares to scold him for being late, her words are cut short by someone informing her that luck has nothing to do with it, leaving her stunned. Rubble, a villain with advanced tech in her suit and weapons, interrupts Tiana and claims she is there to collect a debt. Hovering above, she deploys support drones resembling Japanese shurikens with 5 protrusions launching an attack on Tiana. Rubble launches an assault on Starling with her support drones, which dart around like bullets. Starling skillfully evades the barrage and expressing her eagerness to extract answers from Rubble, as she has no idea where this tech-savvy villain comes from. Rubble retaliates, trying to swat Starling like a pesky fly with her attack, warning that those who have underestimated her in the past have lived to regret it. Starling deftly dodges the attack, asserting she is not like everyone else. Starling delivers a powerful strike to Rubble, noting the villain's inexperience in combat. Sent flying from the impact, Rubble activates her support protocol just in time, with a drone rescuing her. Rubble praises her support for the timely save, but Starling criticizes her for empty talk and lack of action, boasting that she always follows through. In response, Rubble activates a device on her left gauntlet, causing Starling's wing to malfunction and sending her crashing violently to the ground. ground. Story lies in agony on the ground and Rubble approaches, taunting her and reminding her of the consequences of underestimation. Rubble activates external holographic displays showing Gunk and Miles' parents, warning that she must ensure they all learn a valuable lesson. So that's the end of the episode. Will Miles and Misty be enough to defeat this upgraded Scorpion? And will Starling survive this surprise attack? Stay tuned for the next episode, subscribe so you don't miss out when that video drops. This is Carl and see you in the next one.